Hi, I'm David Lee, and this is What's Cooking.
What's Cooking at Shell Point, and I'm Ruth Duber. And today, David is going to do some fabulous things. I'm sure you want to watch.
So.
And also, when we put the recipe up on the website, you'll also see the show. So that's something new that we have. So, David, go right ahead.
Okay, I'm going to make a key lime pie today. And I thought I made a pretty darn key lime pie, but one of our neighbors here at Shell Point, she taught me that she makes a better one. And so it's one of the fun things about cooking is you can share ideas and recipes and always learn. So I'm going to share the idea for, as Emerald would say, kicking it up a notch. So today we're going to do two things. First, we're going to make the graham cracker crust, and I must say that there are those who believe in graham cracker crust and those who believe in a regular pie crust. And I know, Ruth, you're a pie crust.
I like the crumb crust.
So, and meringue is important to some.
Absolutely.
But my wife likes fresh whipped cream.
Ah.
So at any rate, one of these days we'll do a pie crust and meringue. How's that?
Okay.
So anyway, we're going to start with a cup or a little bit more of graham cracker crumbs. And I must say to you that I like the Nabisco brand best. I've tried some other brands we get here locally, and this is the one I prefer. A quarter cup of sugar, granulated sugar, and 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter melted. Okay, so why don't we get started with that first to get things going here. And so I put the two dry ingredients together and mix it up real nicely. And then we add the butter. So now we mix it up, and it just takes a little while to get all of the graham cracker crumbs nice and moist with the butter.
Yeah.
So there are ways to make this gluten-free. So now we're going to put it in our pie crust.
And this is when fingers come in handy, right?
Right, fingers, and what I've found is my quarter cup
That's great.
serving spoon works pretty darn good for patting it in
Wow,
here.
that's a neat hint, David.
There's no,
Yeah.
thank you. Everyone has a different policy, so I'm just kind of, after you've done it a few times, you know, you don't get crumbs all over, but I'm just going to pat it on down here. And so what I'm doing is gently patting this down, and now I'll take my finger and start to.
I've never done that with a graham cracker crust before.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
you may have a
I've
better
really
technique than
struggled
me.
with it. No, I've just struggled with it, you know, because I use my hands.
So now what we're going to do is bake it in the oven just to crisp it up a little bit for 7 minutes. So we'll put this in the oven. And we'll set our timer for 7 minutes. So we have our pie crust cooled. So now we want our I should go through the ingredients for you, I guess, before I open them. We want 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, 4 eggs, egg yolks, not the whites. We want a half a cup of Nellie and Joe's key lime juice. And I want to say to you that until recently, and I think it was you that maybe gave the suggestion, I was a purist. I would always squeeze the key limes.
Well, see, when you get older, you get lazy. The
And
shortcut.
I actually cooked 2 key lime pies, one using fresh and one using this. I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah.
So
Now, let me ask you a minute.
Yeah?
Are the same whites from the 4 eggs? It's the same amount?
They are, but
Okay.
the recipe calls for 1 of them. But I'll show you in a minute why. I have
Okay.
2. I saved 2 of them.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty.
So-
I was curious about, you know,
So
how
the
you
recipe
divided
calls
it.
for a half a cup of the key lime juice, and our recipe that you'll see online, it calls for 1 egg white, but I'm starting with 2, and you'll see why in a few minutes here. So let's get with it here. because I know Dan, our photographer, is awfully hungry for some key lime pie. Okay, now we want the 4 egg yolks. Put them in there. And the 1/2 cup of key lime juice. Thank goodness for dishwashers, huh? Now we'll mix this together. Get out the whisk. So, oh, thanks, Ruth. So we'll mix this together, and I want to get it all incorporated. Now this is a pretty traditional way to make key lime pie. Now, until I learned this new technique, I would just pour it into here and bake it for 15 minutes, and we'd be done. But let me show you how she kicks it up a notch. I'll set this to the side, and we're going to whip up the egg white. Now
that's a king size mixer.
Is a mixer. Now, let me start by saying that I don't think everybody's got one of these at Shell Point.
No, I have one, the little hand.
And that works perfectly well.
Okay.
Or if you're a purist and you have a friend who willed this to you, you can whip them by hand, either in the copper bowl.
It's copper.
And copper mixes, I don't understand what it does.
I don't either. There's something.
But it does make them fluffier. So you can whip this, or just the secret to doing egg whites really is to make sure the bowl is clean and to make sure that there's no yolk in your egg whites. Okay? So as you can see, I'm not the best in the world, but there's no yolks in there today. So once again, you can do this with your hand mixer just as easily.
Okay.
Just takes a little bit longer. But since I have it, and my lovely wife, for my Christmas a number of years ago, gave me the copper insert bowl.
Copper insert, that's wonderful.
So, if there's a gadget at Williams-Sonoma, I have to have it.
That's right.
So now we'll put those in here. So we're going to whip up our egg whites. And it'll get a little noisy. Believe it or not, that just took a little less than a minute. What we're looking for here is what they call peaks. And so we're getting peaks out of this. So there you have, that just took about a minute in this. With your mixer, it'd probably take maybe 2.
Okay, probably, yeah.
It's not as difficult as people think. So you want to fold them in. Now, many of you know how to fold better than I do. So I take a little bit of it and I mix it around. What you don't want to do is deflate this. This is full of air.
You don't want to lose the air that you put in it.
You want the air. So if you watch, as I do this, I almost just, the chef that taught me said you use a J, make a J. So once again, I'm not going to use all of this, but I'll probably use a little bit more than one. That this is the secret ingredient. Okay, now the other thing is, we don't worry if there's a little bit lumpy, because that'll come bake right out of it. So now, and we should have measured it first, but we have much more mixture here now that we have the air in there.
You just pour in what it'll take.
So now we're going to pour in, we're going to make it take it all. We can't let any of this go to waste. Now, this goes in the oven for 15 minutes. And I start watching.
What's the temperature?
350 degrees.
350. Okay.
And Ruth, I start watching it about 13 minutes because of all the air, I don't want it to darken on the top. So we'll start watching in 13 minutes.
Okay.
But this is what it looks like when it's done. Now, before I take it out of there, let me do one other little thing.
Okay.
You know I like my gadgets.
Oh,
And
I know what you're going to do. I see it.
what's that?
You're going to make whipped cream.
I'm going to show you how to make whipped cream the easy way.
Oh my goodness.
So
That's the heavy cream.
here's some heavy cream, whipping cream. I'll fill it up to about right here. I always like to add just a touch of vanilla, homemade vanilla.
Oh,
We'll have to do that sometime.
okay. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. I would imagine that's the secret. Get the lid on tight. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
won't
Well,
work.
yeah. So it's a CO2 cartridge,
Okay.
and now that's ready. Now we can serve
Oh,
your pie.
okay.
Wow.
Dan, there's a piece for you. Ruth, I very
that
seldom get the
perfect.
first piece out.
The texture is perfect.
So,
Oh my goodness.
do you like whipped cream?
I love whipped cream.
How about you, Ruth?
Sure, I love it too.
Well,
I know
then,
what he's gonna
usually,
do.
well,
Yeah,
then,
that,
There we go. Oh my gosh, that's so fabulous.
oh, but I'm so anxious to taste the pie itself.
Here's a fork, Mama.
I think
here's a
that's
fork
plenty
for both of you.
Oh, yay.
So,
Okay.
I'll save myself for later, but not too much later. So,
I don't know.
there you, it's a lighter flavor or texture.
Isn't that
Right?
perfect?
The
Oh.
texture is so much lighter, but you get the kick. of
This
the
is
key
the
lime.
ultimate comfort food. You know that.
Yes.
Oh my
And
gosh.
you can't eat one little piece either,
You
right?
can't. Thank you, David. This is
Well, thank you.
amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
Okay.
Compliments of a friend, and if you've got a recipe you want to share with us, I'd love to hear it.
That's right. We'd
And
love to
try it
hear
out
from you.
myself.
That's
So
right.
there you have it.
Okay.
Yay,
Thanks
too.
for joining us today. Bye now.
Bye-bye.